Good morning! This is the Ukrainian national anthem, marking the end of the curfew in Kyiv. It's 7 a.m. and I hope it will be a good, insightful and meaningful day. This is Майдан Незалежності, Independence Square, the real heart of Ukraine and the central place of Kyiv. You've probably seen the square from 8 years ago, when this was the epicenter of the Euromaidan revolution that happened in Ukraine. It was completely burnt around. Most people were closely watching on the events in Ukraine. Just want to remind you that after that revolution in 2014, Russian forces annexed Crimea, invaded Donbass and actually started the war. So the current invasion is just much more active phase of the war which is already happening in Ukraine. Please keep this in mind. This is Хрещатик, the main boulevard and the central street of Kyiv. You might be impressed with this massive architecture. Yeah, it looks very monumental. And just for you to know that most of the buildings in this area, in the central part of Kyiv, were built in the 50s on the 20th century, which means just after the World War II. But you can ask, how is it possible? In all European countries, the downtown is the most old part of the city. Well, the reason is that Kyiv was completely devastated during the World War II. And actually, most parts of this magnificent city had to be rebuilt completely from scratch. So local citizens have this historical memory, what can happen to the flourishing megapolis. And that's why at least 2 million people, at least half of the population of citizens of Kyiv actually left their homes. But as we see now, the traffic is pretty active. Yes, even some traffic jams are operating. Well, the main reason for that is because there are many block posts around the city and you cannot drive everywhere, unfortunately. Here on Maidan, I just met a gentleman from the United States, and he came and asked, like, where are you from? Do you want to volunteer? So let's figure out whom are you looking for at the moment in Kyiv?
Everybody. I'm trying to get people from every country from around the world to come here, not from Ukraine. And we need to replace the 4 million people that have left with civilians from every country around the world, from England, Japan, India, Australia, Canada, everywhere. We need people from every country here now to stand with you Ukrainians arm in arm to defend this country. So we need to raise the cost of this war for Putin, so we have thousands of civilians from every country around the globe here. So that's very important. We have to represent every country. I'm sure like many people really want to go now to Ukraine, and as a foreigners, if you don't need visa, you are free to come to Ukraine. Yes, just for you to know, no problems, no obstacles at all. But many people are asking themselves what they're going to do here. Like, can you tell what they can do actually if they come? Yeah, there's many sites as far as volunteering. But the main thing, is just being here. So just being here means 1,000%. Just standing here in Ukraine, you and I together, arm in arm, to say, hey, we're going to stand for this country as long as it takes. If I have to be here 6 months or a year or whatever it takes to defend this country, that's what it's about, It's just about a matter of being here. So, do you expect them to participate in the military actions, or like simply if people from different countries, civilians, will stay here, this will engage their governments more, right, to interfere? As civilians, we're responsible for this situation. As civilians, we can change the way this thing works out. If everybody comes with their flags and lives in houses here with Ukrainians side by side and fly their flags by the houses to say, hey, Ukrainians live here and Americans live here. If you want to kill Ukrainians, you're going to have to kill Americans too. And Canadians and Mexicans and Indians and Australians and every country around the globe. We need to be standing here protecting our brothers from Ukraine and standing with them. And when it comes down to fighting, if we must fight, we will fight. So, but every citizen from around the world, the governments can't send their military. That's understandable. But as civilians, I've flown from Hawaii, the farthest distance from around the world, to come and stand with you so we can defeat this stupidity. So Putin is totally crazy.
Thank you, my man. I really appreciate this. How people can find you, how they can contact you if they decide to go to Kyiv?
Well, I can give you my number, my phone number. I'm gonna set up a tent right here.
What's your name?
Ryan Ruth.
Ryan Ruth.
Yeah. But I'm gonna set up a tent right here as a volunteer center, international volunteer center, and I'll be here for the next 6 months. So come to Kyiv, and I'll be right there.
Okay, guys. So this is like Maidan Square, next to the Stella. The name I Love Ukraine, and just over there you will find Ryan.
Yes.
And
So
these are your contacts.
so they can call me here if they need information about the Foreign Legion or about volunteering about through the website. Visit Ukraine. They have something, and volunteers, we can connect with the ones at the university also. So we've got all sorts of volunteer opportunities here in Ukraine besides just standing here in the square with the Ukrainians. So it's very important.
That's amazing. Thank you for your support. I wish you good luck, and let's stay in touch, guys.
We will.
By the way, guys, this is the Arch of Friendship of Nations, which was erected during the Soviet time, and obviously we are talking about the friendship of all of the Soviet nations, including Ukrainians and Russians. However, now it was a clear sign that at the moment it's hard to talk about the friendship. Russian people are telling that they want to liberate their Ukrainian brothers and sisters. However, brothers and sisters don't come this way to the homes of other people. So this is something that has to be completely reconsidered, which will affect the future of the entire Ukrainian and Russian nation. And also this war, which is now taking place in Ukraine, will define the future of our human civilization. So those are very important things that are happening right now here. I'm super grateful for all the support you are doing. So here, you guys, you can see how the typical residential areas of Kyiv look like. This is north, it's Obolon. The mighty Dnieper River, which actually cuts Ukraine in half, west and east. Some other areas over there, Troyeshchina in the northeast of the capital. And actually, the Russian forces were able to reach the city limits from the north and northwest. So now we are going to drive this area to the northwest of Kyiv, and behind those houses on the horizon is the city of Bucha and Irpin, where most of the action took place in this part of the country. Let's go. Meet my friend Alexander. High five.
Hello.
We've been traveling together to many countries, and nice to see you in Kyiv, my friend.
Nice to see you, Orest, in Kyiv as well. City of Kyiv was not destroyed due to the war. There were plenty of bombs falling, but most of them were destroyed in the air, so they did not damage the buildings. Half of the citizens of Kyiv left Kyiv, and now they start to return to the city. And we could see every day the traffic jams on the roads which led to Kyiv, and I could see this traffic jams even within the Kyiv. It's not because of many cars, but also because of checkpoints. There are plenty of checkpoints all over the city, and the guards, the civil defense, they check the documents of almost every driver and his ID and the luggage. And probably the city of Kyiv is the safest since long time nowadays, due to all these checks everywhere. Restaurants are start to open, and some of them already working. The post services is working. Other businesses are still closed. Shops were open. You were able to buy medicine or some products, food all time. Most of them were open all the time.
Well, sounds exciting, so let's try to have a ride and go a little bit further from the city center in order to see how the suburbs of Kyiv actually look like nowadays.
Let's go.
Kyiv nowadays looks like the huge entire military base with a countless amount of checkpoints, with reorganized traffic, with block posts all around, and Google Maps doesn't make any sense in many options. You have just to figure out which way to go, judging on the spot itself. Look at this tower in one of the central parts of Kyiv, also with windows out in a very lively area. Oh, just next to the main metro station and the main transport hub. Do you see, guys, this tower? It also received one of the first hits on Kyiv, but it looks like it is standing. It's one of the largest towers of that type in the world, of that kind of structure. So thanks God it's still standing. Although there are some ruinations next to it, as you can see, but the tower is there. As I see here, public city services are operating. You see they're cleaning the trees, fixing some electro wires. So it means the life is getting back to Kyiv actually. Traffic is becoming more active on the street. Petrol stations are open. Yeah. I see some people on the bus stops. Yeah, it's more lively. This sign M means there is one of the metro stations, and it should be also working. Obviously the schedule is not as used to be in the peaceful times when metro in Kyiv is very efficient. It was operating like every 5 minutes, going trains very fast. Now the schedule is disrupted, but still it's possible to get around such a huge metropolis even without your own car. McDonald's is closed. Actually, they somehow decided not to work under such conditions in Ukraine. Even in my native city Lviv, McDonald's stopped operating from the first day of invasion. However, many international companies came back. For example, Uber is operating the taxi service, Bolt, Estonian taxi service, is operating. And more and more companies start to reopen their offices back because I mean, you have to come back to normal, yeah, as soon as possible in order to sustain and continue working. Huge shopping malls are standing empty. Construction of the apartments is stalled. The life is frozen in Kyiv at the moment, absolutely. In some bottleneck places of the roads in Kyiv, it's getting really bad in terms of traffic. You can see this huge line of cars. They are waiting on one of the entrance to Kyiv, and before the security measures they will have to wait for a couple of hours probably before they can actually enter the city. So the life reality changed dramatically in the modern huge metropolis of Kyiv, which actually was a thriving city and one of the most interesting places to be in terms of culture, events, business, and in general very influential urban area of Eastern Europe. This is one of the most picturesque and upscale residential areas of Kyiv, very centrally located, far away from the big city hectic life. However, now it is completely deserted. All the boutique shops, law firms, consulting companies are completely closed that used to have their headquarters here, and I feel completely alone here. This place calls Vozdvizhenka. I see only door being opened. It used to be the gallery and the bookstore cafe. However, now probably there is something different. Let's check this out. Hello.
Hi.
What's happening here?
Here is the humanitarian headquarters. It's called Tak the Shtab and Tak the Shtab in Ukrainian. We all have had different professions before the war, but on the second day when the war started, we met here with our neighbors, colleagues and friends and decided to be useful because we stayed in Kyiv and decided to stay here and do whatever we can to help. So we started these headquarters, which the first day there were like 3 people here, and now there are about 20 volunteers working constantly. We collect and distribute help for the people, the civilian citizens of Ukraine who are in need now. Those are the internally displaced person, moms with kids, elderly people, disabled people, and so on and so forth. So we help 25,000 people a month. That was the result of the first month.
What kind of products, what kind of things do you deliver to them?
We deliver first the food, the medicine, baby goods. Those are diapers, baby formula, some food, hygiene, and clothes, and sometimes even some furniture, because there are some displaced people from Donbas region, and they need everything here. They come with the no storings.
How people can contribute, how they can find more about your organization?
You can find more information about us on our social media. Those are Facebook, Instagram and LinkedIn, and also you can donate money through PayPal. There is our account, and we will be very grateful for help because we strive for it very much.
You see, guys, so if this is something what resonates to you, children, young families, disabled people, feel free to contact your organization. The name?
Tak the Shtab.
Tak the Shtab. More information will be provided below this video, so feel free to keep in touch with them directly, and let's together help Ukraine survive. Night is starting here very fast in Kyiv. Public transport almost doesn't exist. The girls are using scooter, bikes, and while even looking for a place to eat, I cannot find anything. It's only 7 p.m. Everything is already closed, or it's closed in general. In my native Lviv, actually I have a video about it. It's much more lively due to obvious reasons. The city is in the west and the speed of life actually increased in my city. While in Kyiv it's almost got frozen. The only place open at this time in Kyiv is some shawarma place on Podil area. The guys are making shawarma. Very nice, thank you. Thank you, bro. So this video will be on Orest YouTube channel. Subscribe.
Okay.
And you guys subscribe also if you didn't do so, because our team is working hard to provide you the most honest and valuable information from the local perspective about things that are happening now in Ukraine. Stay with us, please. And if you feel this is something important and you would like to contribute to this, simply follow the link below, and there are a few recommendations how you can support our team directly. So stay with us and let's continue. At this moment I'm going to finish my reporting from Kyiv. Even though the city was living through some harsh times, it feels like the life is slowly getting back. So let's hope it will keep improving and Ukraine eventually will win this war. See you!